Hey everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to what do we call this? We're going to call this Galt Tabletop Spoiler episode?
Spoiler episode.
Yeah,
We'll
Tabletop Spoiler
out.
Guide. So, if you are listening to this, we want to make a couple disclaimers. If you have not already listened to the Galt episode, which should have dropped at the same time, go back and listen to that.
Yes, this will be very confusing if you have no context for what's happening in Galt.
Yes. So first part, go listen to that. If you haven't listened to that, we are going to talk about the adventure in Pathfinder 2nd Edition called Night of the Grey Death.
Yes.
Which is a current adventure. We don't want to really spoil any current adventures going on.
Right.
Just because people are probably playing them, and we don't want to surprise people, be like, oh, I really wanted to play that, and we're like, here's the spoiler.
Yeah, we talked a little bit, and we're not going to like go through and explicitly spoil every 1E adventure path, but they're all old enough and like historical enough that we're going to generally talk about them.
Yeah, and generally what happens in current day, like 2nd edition, is like already been affected by 1E adventures.
Yes.
So when we talk about Princess Eutropia in Taldor, that happened in an adventure path called War for the Crown.
Right.
So you can go play that adventure if you want, but we're kind of just talking about where we're at now.
Right, and then like even that, like that's a good example of there's tons of cool stuff in there. We probably cover 3% of that adventure, adventure path, but there are things that happen in the 1E things that we'll just end up talking about. But the 2E side,
since these are ongoing investigations, not really. Since the world has not been affected in canon yet, we'll have these bonus spoiler episodes to talk through the stuff to kind of bring us really up to speed.
Yes.
But also without, spoiling things.
Yes.
So
tell me, Tyler. So what happens in Night of the Grey Death that is so important to our understanding of Galt?
Oh my gosh. So this is your last warning. If you do not want to be spoiled by the adventure Night of the Grey Death, stop listening now. Otherwise, we're diving in.
We'll see in a couple weeks if not.
Okay. So, Night of the Grey Death. The heroes get called by Camellia Dranach, the current Revolutionary Council.
Right, the one with the reasonable good ideas.
Yeah.
At least it seemed.
The Grey Gardeners have done the unthinkable. They are opening up their main headquarters for a masquerade.
Okay.
And they are planning a midnight unmasking, where everybody goes to the masquerade wearing masks, including the Grey Gardeners, and at midnight, everybody, including the Grey Gardeners, unmask.
Okay.
Which is unprecedented.
Right. That was their whole shtick.
They're like, we're not going to unmask.
Right.
So not only are they doing that, they're like opening their very
cloistered
area. So Camellia, understandably, finds this hella sus. Very suspect. So she's like, you guys, as the players, need to go in and figure out what's happening and like see if there's anything untoward going on. And also you need to figure out how to get in. Right. So we're going to kind of skip a little bit of the, ins and outs of how the players have to go around and get all the information and do that.
Playing happens.
Yeah. So playing happens, investigating, etc., infiltration, what have you. Turns out, spoiler or plot twist, there's no plot twist in this. The masquerade is just a ruse to invite all the very powerful people in Galt and murder them all.
Good.
Yeah.
Everyone important. Kill them all.
And basically attempt to destabilize Galt permanently.
Great.
Yeah. So you might remember, the final blades.
Yeah, the super cool swords or the super cool guillotines that store souls.
So those things are chock full of souls.
I'm sure at this point.
But apparently the soul capacity of a final blade is not infinite. There is a soul limit to these things.
I guess that makes sense.
You can only store so many souls.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
It's like a bag of holding. There's a certain amount of bulks. I don't know what the bulk of a soul is, but there's a certain amount. So if enough souls get absorbed, they basically kind of make this malevolent entity called a Grey Death that is just a whole pile of angry souls exclusively out to destroy.
Oh.
And generally they're held in the final blades. Okay, so as long as they are in the final blades contained, they're like harmless.
Okay,
That's, a guillotine's as deadly as a guillotine is.
Right.
But if they are ever unleashed, they basically go on a rampage. And one of the things to know about this campaign or this adventure, it's a 16th level adventure.
Okay,
so it is high level.
These are very dangerous evil critters.
Yeah, so as players, you were like going, I think it's like either 16 to 18, or it might be, I think it's usually about 3 levels for adventure, so I think it goes up to 18th level.
Okay.
So anyway, very strong enemies.
Oof.
And so the plan basically is they place all of these final blades strategically around Galt, the Grey Gardeners do.
Uh-huh.
And with the goal of at midnight, they have connected them all with magic to unleash a Grey Death all along.
Oh no! Wait,
so
wait, it's.
What are your questions?
Okay, I have so many questions. Like, number one, doesn't this destroy the Grey Gardener's job security?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that part of their whole shtick of like, we only pass the Grey Gardener down to other Grey Gardeners, and that way, like, we are always in charge?
Yeah.
I feel like unleashing the doom stack of Grey Gardener souls.
Yeah. So, again, this is very weird because they have tons of power. They have all the blades. Like, why would they try to destroy Galt?
They're already kind of in charge. I'm not totally grasping why they would do this.
Yeah. So, mega plot twist.
Sure.
Everything that we've talked about in the last episode and everything that's happened since the revolution started, the infighting, the paranoia, this has not just been happenstance and like, normal people murdering each other out of paranoia. Like, something bigger has been going on. Oh, no. Have you ever heard of a conqueror worm?
Nope. I don't know what that is.
I had never heard this either until I researched this episode. So a conqueror worm is basically a super malevolent, very magical, highly intelligent worm.
What the heck? I just pulled up the stat sheet.
Yeah.
What the heck?
They see societies as their playthings. They use their telepathic powers to control people and groups from the shadows. They pit them against each other. They cause strife. They sow chaos. They just do kind of whatever they want. Oh my gosh, yes. So, you know the game The Sims.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Of course. So, some people will just make a family and then find a bunch of creative ways to murder them.
Yeah, you gotta you remove the staircase from the pools. Yeah. And you put the oven in front of the door and have them launch fireworks in their carpet place.
Yeah,
their carpet.
You do things that make people, you try to kill your Sims in very creative ways. This is literally what a conqueror worm does, except with societies.
Oh, no.
And so they are massively powerful, and also they will go for years and decades doing their stuff. Effectively, this thing has been controlling Galt for 50 years. And the crazy thing is, their telepathic magic is so strong that people don't realize that they're being...
Sure.
Yeah, so they can control the heads of state, not really understanding, and those, heads of state don't understand why they're doing the things they're doing.
Oh my gosh.
And so, this worm has just been kind of doing this the whole time. So all the Grey Gardeners have been controlled specifically by the worm.
And so they are literally the arm of the worm.
Yeah, and then, this thing, the thing that, and they have worm prophets that also help sow chaos.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes.
A worm prophet?
So if people find out that they're being telepathically controlled, some people just say, I'm going to start worshiping this worm.
I'm also looking up this stat creature. Oh my goodness! I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So the players, as they're going through this, are well, the Grey Gardeners are attempting to destroy Galt. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, there's also a bunch of crypts underneath their monastery, which has stuff. Also, once they stop plan A of just releasing all of the Grey Deaths, plan B is the worm shows up and it's time to do this myself.
Oh my gosh.
And so then they realize, oh shoot, we need to kill this worm, which is I believe a level 21
level 21
creature. Yeah, the adventure is basically stopping this worm that has been toying with Galt for 50 years. And in the adventure, I read through it, and I mean, it looks like a lot of fun. But it is also a mystery type thing. So if you're listening to this and you decide, what, I want to play this sometime, maybe you should GM, because for the players, it'd be really interesting to find out all this stuff. Anyway, basically, there's a point there that's you have to go the ritual. They you can detach the final blades. So one Grey Death gets out, but not all of them.
Okay.
And they kill the Grey Death. And so then the worm's like, I go finish the ritual, and I need time to do this. So the players kind of are on a timer at this point. They don't necessarily know they're on a timer, but they're kind of on a timer. And it says, so, if the players take too long, Galt just gets destroyed. They're like,
game over, man.
Yeah, they're like, it'll be literally destroyed, and undead monstrosities are running around killing every living thing. The worm gloats a little bit. The players should still kill the worm, of course. Right. But if they do, there's just a undead wasteland.
It's more of a revenge at that point than it is like a savior.
Yeah, so obviously if you don't take that route and you do make it in time and you kill the worm, it basically kind of destabilizes the Grey Gardeners, because turns out the psychic influence they've had has helped a lot of their power. So they've lost their leader, they've lost their structure, and the mobs who have been mentally controlled and the councils who have been everybody who has been mentally controlled kind of lifts and so that's kind of where the adventure ends. Of Camelia's well, now we know. Kind of basically the heroes, you have saved the country.
Yeah.
And she's we are going to try to re-stabilize and build back up from here. But the heroes have a holiday and statues and everything built, because you literally saved a country that has been killing itself for 50 years due to unknowingly this worm that's just been playing around.
That's so cool. Also, after the entire Taldor set of Taldor episodes of the conspiracies existing but not really being a thing, to now it was literally a conspiracy. A giant psychic worm was controlling them.
Well, and the crazy thing
is, my gosh.
And so the final tidbit of why this worm decided now to destroy Galt is Conqueror worms, once they're done, they basically level the whatever society they've been playing with, so no other Conqueror worm would bother to come through and change it.
They break their own toys.
Yeah, and this Conqueror worm's I'm done with Galt. I'm going to go to Taldor.
Oh my gosh,
and
yes!
So if this adventure didn't happen, who knows? A Conqueror worm might have shown up in Taldor and just been yep, gonna mess with this now.
Oh my gosh.
After leaving literally a heaping, flaming husk of Galt.
Oh my gosh. So that's the actual final state, is everyone looks around and goes, wow, it feels less depressing.
Yeah. So, when we talked about doing this episode, I was thinking, or, the Galt episode, I'm how much do we want to do adventure paths? And I'm I don't think this one has that much to it, because I hadn't read it. And then I look into it, I'm oh, yeah, this is wildly important to Galt. And literally the current state of Galt is they might be able to rebuild. And I imagine everyone comes out of a 50-year haze of what were we doing?
My gosh.
Why were we all doing this?
That's incredible.
So yeah, Night of the Grey Death. If you decided to stick with us and listen through it, then I hope you are as jacked about it as we are. I don't know if we'll play it at this point. I think we should with one of our.
Okay, so what we do, not that we have a campaign and a character section here, but
okay,
all right, one of us GMs this, and one of us plays a character who is a worm prophet, who's actively undermining the party at every point.
Oh my gosh.
So that way we can, both of us can know what's happening and be privy to it, and then just sneak those things in. I really think we should go down to the market and see if we can do praise the worm.
What?
So, no. My great uncle, Mr. Worm.
He's just weird. You might have a worm familiar or something. You just praise the worm as everyone's that guy's weird. He has a worm familiar.
It's just my thing. I just keep worms. It's not a big deal.
Man, yeah.
Oh, this is so cool. I'm so glad because like you said, we were very back and forth on it. I'm so glad you decided to go all in and read it.
Reading this,
because this is so cool.
I love the fact that they did this. It is. I'm I wonder how, thinking about how you end a cycle when you realize, it's kind of weird because you're sometimes people are the evil.
Yeah.
And so you're sometimes people just suck. But the fact that people are evil, but they're also fed beyond by this thing, just ramping it to 11 to cause all this chaos, I think it's just really cool.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, add it to the list of campaigns.
We'll add it to the list.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Tyler. Yes, this was a wonderful little bonus edition.
Yeah. So that has been our first and hopefully not last edition of Tabletop Spoiler Guide. So, thanks for joining, and we'll talk to you guys later. Safe travels.
Avoid those conqueror worms. Safe travels.
Avoid those conqueror worms. See you guys.